really, really horrible, and it's a big mess, and you people have to do something about it. Where is the Obamas, and where is the Camerons? Where are these people? Is he paying them or what? This is ridiculous. Nobody coming out saying anything.
Are people able to move in the country? Are hospitals able to get supplies? Tell us a little bit about that.
No, you see, the thing is that, we normally here, as in Libya, and this is the way we do it, we normally bury our dead either after Dhuhr prayer or Al-Asr prayer. And from the morning until that time, everything is subdued, and everybody's going about, getting their food supply, and which is becoming very short, for your information. It's becoming very short and scarce. And we're getting our way, and after that, when the people bury their dead, they're on the way back to town, and this is when the army people start shooting. And also, for your information, when they were bringing their dead to the cemetery, we have to go through the army barricades, and we have to go through the police. This is the way. This is the only way, the road that leads you there. And they were shooting without no reason. Nobody, even throwing rocks at them. And they're shooting at us, and things start normally now, where it gets all get worse, and and the shooting and the killing, a lot of hurt people in the hospital, injured, a lot, the supply of medical is very, very short and scarce, and also the blood. You guys have to take care of us. You have to, bring our words outside. You have to tell the American administration and the European, two Bahraini died, and everybody went around their heads because of the two Bahraini died. We have more than 200 are dying today in Benghazi from last night.
All right, thanks so much.
About us.
Ahmed from Benghazi, thanks so much. We'll continue on that sentiment expressed there about European leaders. Well, apparently they're following events very closely in Libya, and as the crisis deepens, they're coming under increased pressure to act. Harry Smith has more.
Ever since Colonel Gaddafi was brought out of the diplomatic wilderness, Libya has become an increasingly important partner for Europe. On his first ever visit to Brussels in 2004, he was given the sort of ceremonial welcome which would have been unthinkable a few years before. Many of the European Union's 27 members are now big investors in Libya.
You don't have to look far to see why Libya is an important trading partner for the European Union. It provides nearly 10% of its oil. It's now the third largest supplier behind Norway and Russia, and its importance is growing. Only recently it overtook Saudi Arabia for that third spot.
It was the decision of the United Nations to lift sanctions against Gaddafi's government that started the European rush. The former colonial power Italy was among the first to normalise relations. Others soon followed, attracted by the prospect of oil from a supplier close to Europe. Libya has the largest reserves of oil in Africa, and its deposits are relatively cheap to exploit. The release by Britain of the Lockerbie bomber was a sign of the UK's willingness to foster good relations with Gaddafi, even though it risked damaging ties with the United States. But even Britain is now condemning Libyan actions.
The Foreign Secretary spoke today and said he was very concerned about the situation in Libya. We condemn the use of heavy weaponry against protesters. We're shocked by the reports of the number of deaths, 35 apparently at one hospital overnight. And we've had to say very clearly, just because the news media doesn't have full access to Libya, the eyes of the world are still upon the Libyan government and how it is responding to protest.
And as the crisis deepens, Europe is coming under increasing pressure to act. Harry Smith, Al Jazeera.
Well, Mena Shahtakin is a senior policy analyst at the Centre for Global Energy Studies in London. He joins us now live from the British capital. Just how reliant has Western Europe become on Libyan oil?
Well, you already heard in your piece is a major dependency. They have a strong dependency on oil from Libya. It varies, for example,
but it seems
Italy.
The figures seem to vary, don't they? I mean, I've heard all kinds of numbers, from
Italy,
9 to 25%.
Yeah, yes, Italy is about 1/3 of its oil is coming from Libya. But I think we should not exaggerate this. Whatever the network of global network of ships going around, pipelines and so on, they can manage if there is a vacuum, if there is a disruption. There will be, of course, psychologically, if there is a break of the exports of oil and gas from Libya into the international market, there will be a psychological reaction. The price of oil will go up. But I think within a few days or a few weeks, the market would realize that 1.5 million barrels per day, let's say, oil and much smaller quantity of gas can be replaced by other sources from the Persian Gulf, the Middle East. Saudi Arabia has 4 million barrels per day already available. The industrialized countries, members of the IEA, they have a plan from strategic reserves to compensate for that. So it can be managed, but there will be a disruption.
Well, maybe they can get round that side of it. How much money, though, have the Europeans invested in Libya lately since the lifting of sanctions? That can't be got around if things go belly up there, right?
Yes, the comments I said is on a short-term basis. On a long-term basis, the assumption is that those major investments, which I don't have the number, but they are really significant, especially since the lifting of the sanctions the last few years, many companies have gone and they have started major projects. We haven't had much discovery and increase of production yet, but that is the nature of oil and gas, which has a long lead time. So those investments are there. I'm sure the investors are worried. But I think we should realize that whatever the nature of the change of government at the end might be, that government would still want to export oil and gas and import consumer goods and so on. So the trade will have to go back and that will be resumed. And the companies investing are already used to it. They were for 20 years suffering from sanctions, and they could not travel. They had to go by land, fly to Tunisia, and in 12 hours by bus and so on to get to their operations. But they did continue. I think the international oil industry can manage these disruptions and political pressures. But of course, there is a hiccup. It will take a while of disruption, managing back and forth.
All right, Manouchehr Tekin there with his analysis of the situation. Thanks for that. It's not only investors, you know, maybe worried. Let's talk about those in cyber world. Imran Khan, a lot of people worried there too, right?
Absolutely, Sami. Well, let's go to Libya first. And that crackdown on the internet has meant that most service providers have been blocked. Now, despite that, Libyan protesters are getting retro. They're using landlines to get information out to us here at Al Jazeera and to expat Libyans who are blogging their reports. To the micro-blogging site now, Twitter. Hisham Jattar worries about those that have been hurt. He says numbers of casualties horrifically increasing, reports of army soldiers refusing orders being executed. And an emotional plea from Ahmed Fayyad, SOS to save Libya. Save Benghazi, they're killing civilians and they are killing unarmed. Now, like I said, it's expat Libyans using family and friends to get information out, and clearly it's taking a toll. We're all so emotional. We have not slept or eaten, and we're thinking about those in Libya 24/7. It's extremely hard. We cannot think. Now, to get around those curbs on the internet in Libya, Google's launched a service where anyone in that country can phone a landline and leave a message. That's transcribed directly into a tweet. The news about the service is spreading. The numbers are on your screen right now. We will, of course, monitor those tweets as they come in. Now, like I said, getting any picture out from Libya is difficult. But some enterprising protesters have managed to stream pictures by using a webcam. They're using live stream to upload it. Now, the quality is bad.